Hi guys, Ben here. I just wanted to do a quick video about the power of high ticket dropshipping and why selling tax from AliExpress can be a thing of the past. So the power of high ticket dropshipping is that if you choose a high price product, that's what high ticket means, it's a high price product. I give a rule of thumb of £500 or $500 being the minimum. It used to be less than that, but since inflation and everything like that, people these days are a lot more willing to buy high price products online as well. There's a lot less resistance to that. And so that minimum price, I've raised that up to about £500 as a rule of thumb. Minimum that is. The product I used to sell the most was £1,600. And the highest priced product I ever sold was around £5,000. So now times have changed and that people are a lot more willing to buy online. It all happens during the pandemic, and now people are just so used to spending thousands of pounds online. It's fine. So the power of selling high ticket is that once you establish these business relationships with suppliers and manufacturers in your own country, not in China, not in India, there are thousands upon thousands of suppliers and manufacturers in your own country who are willing to work with online entrepreneurs now. It's just the norm. If you look at the trends online, e-commerce just keeps on getting higher and higher as the high street keeps on falling. So the power comes from the fact that you can have business relationships with the suppliers and manufacturers. They're in your own country, so when they deliver, it takes no more than a few days generally. It depends on what the product is, of course. But my standard delivery time was around 2 or 3 days. For a big product, that was £1,600. Maybe it'd be an extra day. Because I had to organise the courier as well. I had a nice sort of high value sort of courier who dealt with big expensive products. But the power is that you're a lot more in control. You're not waiting for things that are being shipped over from China. And come on, let's face it, most of it's going to be taxed anyway. It's embarrassing selling a load of cheap stuff from China. You can work with these high ticket suppliers, and the products that you sell, if you make one sale per day, you're sorted. I was making at times, £500. The odd day I'd be making £1,000-ish in profit. That's not revenue, that's in profit. But the days when I've made that sort of money, that's when, Christmas is ramping up or something like that. Best month I ever did, I think it was around £71,000. Think about all of the profit in that. When you're working with high ticket suppliers and manufacturers, the profit margins, from what I've seen, tend to be between 20% and 40%. So let's just say on average, it's about 30%. So my maths isn't amazing, but 30% of 71,000 is a lot of money. Now you have to pay for Google Ads, that's true. A few other little things here and there, like the monthly subscription for your Shopify store. But you can make really decent money, and you can create a legitimate and long-standing online business. And it all comes down to suppliers and manufacturers. It can be difficult to form business relationships with these suppliers and manufacturers. But that's a good thing. You want to have a moat around your castle because it stops anybody joining. There'll be lots of people who know about dropshipping and they just buy something from AliExpress and sell it on their store. Anybody can do that, but it takes some skill, it takes some know-how to be able to find suppliers and manufacturers in your own country, Because a lot of the time they don't even have particularly good websites. Maybe they don't come up high in Google searches. So, there's some techniques that you can implement to find these suppliers and manufacturers. But it's all about creating a business relationship with these people. Don't forget, they want to make money too, but they don't want their brand associated with dodgy retailers. They don't want people who they just want to make a quick bit of money and they don't really, know what they're doing. And so you can do that by contacting these suppliers and manufacturers and ask to speak to the account manager for your region. I had coffee with one of the account managers when I was trying to set up a business relationship with them. He came down, I bought the coffee and we had a chat, and I explained to him, I really like your products. This is what my brand is all about. I think your products would work well on my website. And he really sort of understood where I was coming from. He could see that, I'm a bit younger, and I was back then. I was bringing that new lease of life into their business. It was a lot more e-commerce based. Digital marketing, some of these account managers, they're getting on a bit and they're used to the old way of things, and they know e-commerce is where everything's going, and maybe they're a bit worried. Generally, that's not the case anymore. It was when I started, and I'd have conversations with them, but now in 2025, they're just so used to it. But I'd still say they want to be convinced at times, and so you need to do that. You need to preferably speak to them face to face. At the very least, I'd want it to be a phone call, and you're going to discuss with them how you operate your business, how you can help them, how you can work together to make money. Because at the end of the day, they want to make money. They just don't want to work with anybody who could bring loads of hassle to them, somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. So you need to convince them of that. So once you have your first supplier or manufacturer on board, you need to get a website, a Shopify store, preferably, and get Google Ads running. Now, hopefully, you know the process of creating a high-ticket dropshipping business, and there's a process to finding what a good niche would be. You want to specialize in something that has that minimum price range of £500, I'd say. $500, £500. Once you've got to the point where you've established you've got a good niche, you've contacted suppliers and manufacturers and they're willing to work with you, you've set up a Shopify store where you can sell their products, you've got Google Ads running, so you know from your previous research that people are buying these products from these other dropshipping stores. You're not sort of reinventing the wheel here. You just want a slice of that pie. So now you're putting the products to a nice Shopify store. Now you don't want to be spending lots of time making it perfect, but you want it to be presentable, where people feel they can trust to spend money with you. You want to be providing good customer support if need be as well. That depends sometimes on the niche. I always find that providing high quality customer support over a phone call is the best way to make sales. Made some of my biggest sales by having a phone call or two, and what wins them over sometimes, because sometimes the customers will be speaking to a couple of retailers and they're sort of trying to gauge, they're spending like $2,000 or something. They want to be sure that they're going to the right place. And I've had customers say, look, there are retailers who are selling a bit cheaper than you, but I just like how you went out of your way to help me, and the customer support, I found it very valuable, and that sort of thing. As long as you're doing things like that, there's no reason why you can't make a few sales a day. 1 sale a day, 2 sales a day at that sort of price range, and you can quit your job You can be doing that full time. That's exactly what I did. And that business is what helped me to buy this house that I'm creating this video in now. And my thing is coaching people. That's what I do. I get a lot of fulfillment out of it. I get to coach people when I see them go through what I did and sell these products and start to create a living for themselves where they can work from home and they haven't got a boss. And, you know, it's great. It's a great feeling. So from that point onwards, you just hone in what works, what products are selling well, where are customers having issues on your website. Maybe they're going to pages that don't work. Maybe they're going to products, but they don't have enough product information. Maybe they're asking you more questions. Over time, you can adapt and change things to fit around your customers' needs. And, you know, creating a FAQ for them, for example, anything that helps the process, that gets them over the line. And so in 2025, that is what makes a powerful business. It's totally online, totally remote, high ticket drop shipping from suppliers and manufacturers in your own country. It's not rocket science, but there is a process, there is a method behind it. I'm a drop shipping coach. I've created a store that did over $500,000 in revenue. And now I coach people on how to do that for themselves. If you're interested, click on the link below. It takes you to a page where I explain, you know, a bit more about what it is I do. And you can book in a call with me. It's a free call, half an hour, and we go over whatever it is that you need to go to the next level. So maybe you've already got a dropshipping store that's going. I can give you a bit of advice. I can tell you what you need to do. If you're starting from the beginning, I can explain more the process, and, you know, we can talk about niches and things like that. Whatever you want to cover, I have most probably been there and done that. Get on the call, book a call with me, and we can go over it together.